Good morning, friends. Welcome to Journey Home Meditation's Morning Sit. We're going to ease our way into today. Today's teacher has been being in a hurry, so I'm going to listen to that teacher and learn how to slow down today. And we're going to get into some shared breathing, a little contemplation, and we'll read a poem or two this morning. I'm Michael, and I'm very happy to be here today. Let's spend just a few moments catching our breath. Give some special attention to the way the body feels as the breath moves in. Are you feeling a tightness in your stomach or your heart area, your chest? Feel how the lower back feels and the middle back and the shoulders. Sometimes I even feel my breath right up to my clavicle, base of my neck and throat. See what you feel as you breathe in and out this morning. And when the thoughts that are outside of your body start to arrive, things about your morning, your day, your obligations, your regrets, something you said to someone in 7th grade that you can't get out of your head, whatever it is, just bring your focus back to the feeling of your breath. When I first started these practices, I had a teacher in India. I was attending a school that was based out of India, and was through Zoom. And so my classes for me started at 3:30 in the morning, and went until midday. And I had a teacher who would say the only thing we're going to do today, the only thing we're going to learn is 3 uninterrupted breaths. And I thought, well, that seems really easy. Why am I paying for this school? Why would I pay for a school that just the guy wants me to take 3 breaths uninterrupted? And so you sit on your mat and you begin, and I was finding I couldn't even get through really one full breath. Completely in, hold the breath, completely out, hold the out breath, without my mind wanting to take over. To just be with the sensation of the breath, just pure feeling without story, uninterrupted. And let the body have a full sensual experience of even one breath, let alone 3. It took months. Months of daily practice. And it is a culmination of a bunch of practices. It's not just that practice, but when you really sit down and try to find a space in your day that you are not being bombarded by emotions, just allowing for sensations without emotions, it's almost antithetical to who we think we are. Oftentimes we identify with our emotional beings. We identify with a way of emotionally reacting and responding to the world. I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. No, I'm really calm. I'm a really good listener, and I don't take things personally. Like, these are the identifiers, or, oh, I'm fiery. Boy, you don't want to get me mad because I'm stubborn. I don't forgive. We have all these behaviors and reactions and responses that we start to decorate our human suit with. And so we build an expectation that this is how I'm going to react. So I want you to be aware of that. And it's almost like our emotional bodies become the litmus test for our connections and our friendships and our relationships. And there's the whole, like, if you can't handle me at this, then you don't deserve me at this, like a simple scroll through any social media feed will show dozens, hundreds of memes that tell you what you don't actually have to do. You don't have to forgive anyone. You don't have to put up with somebody, not loving you at your worst. You don't have to stick around for this or that. Like, there's all these ways that reaffirm that you don't have to actually do any personal work on the ways in which your emotional body takes over relationships and conversations and moments in your life. It's perfectly okay for you to erupt at the smallest of things because you are a passionate person. You're a Scorpio. Whatever space fish is going to tell you why it is you have these emotional reactions. But really, I think that the most difficult test for my emotional well-being is, can I have 3 uninterrupted breaths? 3 breaths without my emotions stepping in. 3 breaths without my thoughts hijacking the moment and taking over. Just 3 breaths. In, hold, out, hold. Where my body is fully engaged with the material world. There's probably not a lot of spiritual teachers that are teaching this practice of engaging fully with the spiritual world. It seems that depending on which TikTok universe you're a part of, the teachers want to take you out of the material world. You are not your body. And yes, you are not your body. That is true. I am not my body. That is true. That's not my full identity. But I am in this body. And spirituality, by definition of the word, means to understand that you are of breath. To be spiritual is to be of breath, made of breath. So allowing your physical body, this entire fleshy being of sensations and pleasure and pain and digestion and strange sounds and weird smells, all of the things that come with being a body, allowing that experience to engage with breath is a spiritual experience. This union of the body and the breath, the ethereal world, the connection that tethers me to you, to every living being on the planet through breath. This moment that as I breathe out, I'm breathing out vapor of water from my very blood. And as my waters leave my body, they rejoin the greater waters of our existence. All water is one. All water is one. From the depths of the ocean to the rain in the clouds, the rivers, the sweat on the brow of your great-great-grandmother in labor. It's all one water. We're of one sea. So to allow that physical experience without the intrusion of your emotional identity or your thought identity is quite a challenge. I'm ever grateful for that teacher. And I'm ever grateful for that practice. And so this morning, as I'm in a rush and starting this practice later than I had planned, I remember to slow down. When you're in a hurry, slow down. And it's in the slowing down that we can capture those breaths. So let's take a few breaths together. And when we take these breaths, we're going to be breathing in through our nose to the bottom of the belly as best as we can. Give it a shot. And if you're finding that a breath isn't working for you, just breathe in the way that feels most natural for you, but bring your awareness to that breath, consciously slowing down the breath, feeling the sensation of the breath as you move into the body. Hold it for just a moment. Let the body do what the body does and release. That expansion of who we are and the contraction of who we are. This is the ebb and flow of all of existence. This is the tides on the shore. This is the fattening and thinning of the moon's light. This is all of the seasons and the cycles of birth and death. It's all expansion and contraction. So participate in life for just a few breaths together. Okay, before we do Appalachian Elegy today, I'm going to drink of water. Pardon those sounds. I think the microphone is probably a little more sensitive than my ears, and I think those bottle and drinking sounds might be a bit much for those out in the ether worlds here. But I this poem, the small poem that I think is really, really helpful from Wendell Berry. This poem comes from the Selected Poems of Wendell Berry. This just came out in the last couple of years. There's a few different collected works, but I really appreciate this Selected Works. It's a little more compact than most of them, and it's a nice, solid collection of works that show Wendell Berry's deeply rooted connection to life. This piece is called Breaking. Did I believe I had a clear mind? It was like the water of a river flowing shallow over the ice. And now that the rising water has broken the ice, I see that what I thought was the light is part of the dark. I love that the poem begins with a question mark. Did I believe I had a clear mind? It's like even the questioning the concept of belief being a muddying of a clear mind. And mud is okay. Om Mani Padme Hum is hail to the jewel in the lotus. And the lotus is a flower that only comes from the dark, from the mud. We can only take root in the mud. And so this is why the famous Zen phrase, no mud, no lotus. To understand that is to understand that the lotus is not an evolution out of the mud, that there is a tethering and a connection of the lotus and the mud, that they are the same. They are the same. That the life that extends through the umbilical, this umbilicus that connects us to all life, it is not a leaving or a departing. Enlightenment that we have heard about for so long that people try to attain is not the exit strategy that we might want it to be. There are many religions who have sprouted out an idea that we can exit this realm, that we are not supposed to be here, that this realm is some sort of a punishment, and that our true destiny awaits outside of this realm. But I don't know anything about that. Even the great teacher from the Christian religion that many people in the Christian faith espouse that notion, even their teacher said that the kingdom of heaven is within. It is here. And when Wendell Berry poses that initial question, there's such a depth. It's almost a koan. Did I believe I had a clear mind? It's almost, What a profound statement when you really can sit with it. It was my belief all along that was part of the mud. So, and then he goes on and explains that what he thought was a clear mind was like just seeing this surface of the water that's clear. It's like, oh yeah, that's it. I'm clear like the water. And then understanding once the rest of the river rose up to meet it, oh, it's all the same. It's all one. It's almost like I had a teacher who would teach, the lesson was to look at the clouds in the reflection on a puddle of water or on a pond or a lake. You see a still pond in the wilderness. You go out in the woods and you find this still pond. It's got algae and muck, but you find some space of water there, and it's still, a spring pond. And you see the clouds. You see this perfect reflection. And he says, if you're taking that for what it looks like it's the clouds. It looks like it's the sky, right? These are clouds. But that's just a reflection on the surface. And that's what our identity is. Just this reflection on the surface. If we take it for what it looks like, we see this one thing. But when we go into it, we know the pond itself is not that sky. It's deeper. It's not the reflection. But when you really sit with understanding, that cloud is made of water and that pond is made of water, and that cloud will drop itself into that pond. That pond comes from that cloud. That cloud comes from that pond. They are one. It's a trip. It's a mind trip. You got to be willing to play hippie for a minute and go down those paths. But when you start to open yourself to those levels of understanding, it's not acquiring knowledge and information the way that you do in school that you can use, to further your career. It's acquiring a depth of connection. It's finding home. It's a way of finding our way home. And it takes a long time to see the cloud on the pond and know that it is not the pond, and then to see the cloud in the pond and to know that it is the pond. It's this. Yeah, maybe that's a bit abstract. I don't know. But it's a wonderful place of understanding to come to, that I think is wrapped up pretty easily in the Zen teaching of chop wood, carry water. So when we're taking 3 uninterrupted breaths into our bodies, we're connecting our bodies, tethering them to the meat of the world, right? Like we are connected inherently and inextricably so. We're doing the work of chopping wood and carrying water all day long. We're breathing in and breathing out. But the teaching says to chop wood, carry water. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. But after enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Enlightenment is just another word for awareness. It doesn't mean that it wasn't there before, and it doesn't mean that it changes into the after. It means that you become present with it. That's it. And there have been individuals who have been able to enter into presence and never left. Beautiful. Beautiful. I've sat in the presence of some people who I feel have somehow managed to be in the water knowing they are in the cloud and be absolutely present with both realities. Not even both realities, with that reality, with that understanding. But I forget. I forget every day. And in the forgetting, I allow the emotional body to do what it does. And I allow the thought body to do what it does. And I get pulled here and there. And then the remembering is in the breath. The remembering is just in the breath. Okay. Well, I think that I want to give bell hooks more time than just a few minutes at the end of a sit. And I'm feeling like we're at a good wrapping point. So I want to open up. If there's you have any feedback, thoughts, or questions? on 3 uninterrupted breaths. Did you find 3 uninterrupted breaths today?
I don't think so. But
Me
no,
either.
I enjoy breathing. I was doing public speaking at a city council meeting. It was like the first time I went in Medford, and I was super nervous. And just like heart rate going up and everything's anxiety. And there's the guy in line with me. He'd been in a few times to talk already, and he was just talking to me about the science of taking 3 deep breaths and how that helps you like come back a little closer to baseline. Something like that. And so, I think, 3 deep breaths really, good thing to do when you start feeling a little off center. And I just like trying to be more like the still water or like a mirror, and not you don't have to like hold on to all these bits and pieces to have an understanding of anything. You can just be the mirror, be the water. I like thinking about it. That I don't know how well I can accomplish that, but it helps to picture it.
I would much rather have that thought in my head than the thought of, all of the ways I degrade and denigrate myself. I'd rather think about like putting forth the idea, like I can be the mirror, I can be the still water. I can be the still water rather than I'm going to be the disappointment. I'm going to be So, I think there is a level of trickery that's involved in some ways. I don't think it's intentional or nefarious, but we're just tricking our mind out of one thing into another. Our brains are going to think, our minds are going to think. So why not inject something into that thought that is going to feed us in a way that nourishes us instead of diminishes us, And if you can just hold on to even that thought of like, I'm the still water, just long enough, where's the harm? I only see the possibility of transformation in this way as helpful and positive.
I guess to really be still water or mirror, you do kind of let go of the picturing, and you just are. But that's tough for me.
Yeah, there's definitely this thing that occurs with a longer sit, and I can find it now in shorter meditations just because of the repetition of the practice. My body's starting to learn a muscle memory. But there's this thing that happens where all of a sudden you fall into this space. The best way I can describe it is if my whole being is now swimming in this big, vast emptiness. And it's amazing. There's this amazing place to achieve through the meditation practice where you are just without thought, and you don't even understand that there is a consciousness of breathing. There's just this beingness that exists, and it's expansive, and you don't know where you end and anything else begins, and that line becomes so blurred that it's not even there. You're just a part of this vast sea of expansive beingness. And there's moments when I come out of those meditations and I'm just mind blown that I forgot that that's where I am all the time, that I have that, I didn't get up and go anywhere, and I didn't take a drug that changes my chemical makeup. I just went, and there I was. And it's like, oh yeah, This is the waking dream, is what some cultures say. Aboriginal cultures say this is a dream world. We're playing out a dream.
Yeah, I think I want to get to a point where I can do that just sitting and breathing or whatever. But for me, mostly, like, I feel like I've had those experiences, but typically only on like mushrooms or something. And I do definitely like it. It feels like, yeah, I've experienced like some of that, but really hard for me to get there. Just I feel like I don't know. Hard. It's hard.
The psychedelics have been so helpful in getting us to understand that those places exist, but it also becomes this thing of like that becomes the key to the door that I've locked inside of myself. Now I'm like, well, I'm going to have to get mushrooms if I'm going to do that. And it's like, no, like, sure, you can. They're here for this reason, right? Like, we're in this world that's sure. There's zero judgment, but to remember that I can get to that place with nothing at all is to remember that place that we're getting to is just a part of the same oneness that I already am. It's not a special trick of the mushroom. The mushroom is just kind of a jetpack that helps us jump farther quickly. Ram Dass talked about, you get high and then you get low, and you get high and then you get low. And he talked about his guru, Neem Karoli Baba, as a person who just got high and he just stayed high. And he tells this famous story about Neem Karoli Baba eating a whole lot of very strong LSD. He told Ram Dass, give me the special medicine. Give me the medicine. And he eats a whole lot of it. And he says, am I crazy now? Am I going to go crazy? And Ram Dass is a little bit scared, like, what's going to happen when this, naked little Indian man disrobes his blanket and runs around on acid? But it didn't change him a bit. Not a bit. And then Ram Dass thought that was some kind of a trick. And he did it again just to show Ram Dass, that there's no trick here, that I am already all of these things. I'm already all of that is here. So this isn't going to do anything different to me because I've already accessed it. And I think it's a rare person that can come to that place. It's a rare thing. But the fact that a person can come to that place shows me like, oh, that is a possibility. It's not necessarily even what I want. I don't want to be necessarily a guru on a mountaintop in an ashram. Like, I do enjoy sitting at coffee shops and bookstores, and I do enjoy all of those things. But I would love for at least to begin to have a true and consistent understanding that when I am swept away in my emotional responses, that's just a moment. I'd love to access that, to be able to go, isn't this interesting? Instead of feeling so overwhelmed sometimes by my emotional history that it takes over, just to be able to go, whoa, look at that emotional cloud on the reflection of the pond. Amazing. Look at that. That's abandonment. Isn't that interesting? What is that? That's rejection. What is that? That's interesting. Look at that. Look at that rejection cloud. Hey, kids, do you see in the cloud there that looks like the love of a father that you never received, doesn't it? Kind of, if you kind of look at that just a little bit like that. The shape of pain in the clouds. But to be able, I would love to be so practiced to be able to see it for what it is and to understand that it's not who I am. It's just what this cloud is. It'd be so beautiful. And when I can, it is. And when I can't, it's still beautiful. It's still beautiful. I wake up the next day and I look back at it and I can laugh. I can go, whoa, that was quite an emotional journey. What did you get to bring back a souvenir from that journey? What did you leave behind? All right. Thanks for being here today. We'll hopefully see everyone tomorrow. Hariom.